the bees. In taxi cabs and golf courses, couldn't be dragged by wild horses. Don't be mad, honey, look, I'd always be in the bad books. Don't be sad, honey, look, it's a much better reader. I'd always be in the bad books. Crucifix above my bed.
Okay. This is our last call for navigating darkness. Is there a way to share myself as well? Where am I? There I am. Okay. This was this is a really good book, and I highly recommend if you haven't already gotten yourself a copy to snag this at a bookstore, preferably a local bookstore, or online somewhere. You can even get this book thrifted or directly from Kelly Ann's website, I believe. Let me take this one earbud out because I can't even hear myself. And this call's just going to be a bunch of reflections that we're going to do together. And then we're going to do some bibliomancy to pick what our last passage or discussion will be about in regards to this book, Witch in Darkness. First question I have for you is what helps you the most in the midst of darkness? I challenge you to make a list even of what helps you the most in the midst of darkness and write this list somewhere that you won't lose it. Write this list like in your diary or your journal or even like your agenda that you have, possibly even your notes, just to always have on deck for when you're going through a dark time to remember, because sometimes we forget. Maybe take like a few minutes to write that down. Hope you're all having a good day. Hope my sound is better. I got the Yeti mic. One of the pieces fell off. I've had this for like 7 years, but hopefully audio is better. Am I on mute? That's what I thought. Okay. Because last time I was like muted for a second. All right. Also, happy eclipse season and full moon. Whatever moon phase you're watching is replay. I feel like every moon phase has its own magical benefits. I play music, but I'm still trying to figure out this whole. I figured out how to play music, but it's just navigating Zoom. I forget navigating darkness. I can't even navigate Zoom. Every time I try to switch tabs, it's just really annoying. I'd say the first thing I can think of is knowing that I'm not alone. Second thing, I would say a supportive system. So just having people to confide in that I feel safe to share my experience in that aren't going to judge my experience. I feel like some of us were thrown into environments where people are just harsh as ever with what you're going through to the point you don't even want to share it with those certain people because you already know how they're going to react. So for me, it's leaning on those people who are safe and like not feeling the fear of rejection or feeling like embarrassed by my dark times because oftentimes people can relate and like you opening up about those dark times is a door for them to also express their dark times. And this is what this whole book discussion series of discussions is really centered around is like knowing you're not alone and there's ways to make it less of a bad experience. Hmm. Beauty alchemy for sure. Got to put that one in. Just simple things to beautify my life, help to house me the most in the midst of darkness. It just makes me feel in control of something when I'm not in control of certain things. Fragrance. Also, comments. I want to hear like what fragrance did you bring to this call, or just what fragrance are you wearing? I'm wearing my Sacred Sunshine. This is the newest spring fragrance. Can't even see it. Come on now. Okay. It smells like freshly washed laundry, but make it more feminine and floral and like bougier. I don't know how to. It smells like powdered ocean breeze, but also floral, whimsy, fairy vibes, and it lasts for days. I'm going to be listing that this week. So yeah, fourth thing is fragrance. And yeah, take your time with this list. If you want to add some more things to it this month that you're noticing that helps you during dark times, just pay a little bit extra attention to like what you lean on and what makes your experience better. And it doesn't have to be anything grand. Oh, one thing I also realize is music. Music really helps me when I'm in the midst of darkness to calm my nervous system. Singing, listening to music, creating music, and especially helps me with being in the midst of darkness. Because I feel like me making music is my way of expressing the darkness I'm feeling. A lot of my songs that I create are very like dark, not dark, but like they're the sadness that's the sadness and the angriness that I don't express as much as I feel like I should. Like as of recently, a lot of songs I've created are very political. Um because the political climate is ass and we're all tired of it. Um if you can't think of anything, I want to ask you what things have you leaned on in the past? Like what did you do to help with stress when you were a kid? Like you may not even have realized you were stressed, but what things did you reach for as a kid that just made you happy? And those are things that could actually be something that could really help you as an adult if you reach towards those things as well. My next question is, what makes things worse for you in the midst of darkness? And I want you to write this down too. So, like, while you're in the midst of darkness, you could pull out this list again and just keep in mind of like those things that may be making your experience worse than it needs to be, and try to like bring that down a notch if you can't eliminate it altogether. I'm writing this in my diary for you in the midst of darkness. Mm, Water, like an unclean space. The first thing that came to mind, like I find that when I'm really busy, my desk will get really cluttered. Everything gets really cluttered, and that just makes me feel even uglier seeing all of that ugliness. It's not helping at all. So I should definitely make sure to be on my P's and Q's, especially when I'm in the midst of darkness, or maybe just like lean on cleaning as a way to lift up the energy. Because some say, many believe that unclean space leads to an unclean head. Like sometimes you're having financial blockages or even mental blockages because you're sleeping on a bed that has trash under it. Um, Cleaning is can be a spiritual practice, and clutter can mess with your mental capacity. What's something else? I want to say disassociation, like smoking weed. I took a good break for like a full month, and I still notice that I retreat sometimes when I need a break. And I think that's normal. Um, I would say disassociating too much. Like sometimes and I think it's because I overwork myself too much. It's like I'll work a 12-hour shift back to back to back. So like 3 days, 12-hour shifts back to back. And then that weekend, I'm just like catching my breath. And in the next couple of days, I'm like, I don't know, it's just the body keeps score. So I feel like I need to be a little bit more strict with myself on how long I'm resting, unless I'm like bleeding or it's like before my bleed. But even then, so I need to just like be more on top of it, get on my Zooms because I got so much content to make. So yeah, disassociating too much. And I want to think of, let me see if I can think of a third one, things that make what makes it worse for me. Um, Skipping important rituals. Like my morning rituals, I like to go outside, and of course, I can't always do this because of the weather, but I like to go outside, get some fresh air. I like to go barefoot on in my backyard, put my feet on the dirt, kind of like sun gaze, stretch, do some breath work. And sometimes I'll skip it. And on those days, they're not as good as the days that I don't skip it. So just like what makes it worse for me is just skipping important rituals. Um, Sometimes it feels like pushing things off is the best decision at the time. And you realize later on in a week that was actually the worst decision. I probably should have done that a lot earlier. So just making better, just preparing. Let me see, a fourth thing I would say, not preparing ahead of time. I do so much stuff last minute and it's annoying because things can come up and then it just ruins the experience doing it last minute. And it's like, I know that the experience is bad doing things last minute, but I still somehow do a lot of things last minute. So not preparing ahead of time definitely makes things worse in the midst of darkness because now it's like I'm way more stressed out than I need to be. What do you want to try this season is my last question. And this is just to get us excited about this year of the horse. It's been a tough year of the snake, a lot of uncomfortability and shedding. And that's, hey, there may be some more of that this year of the horse, but I know energetically it's supporting movement. So, what do you want to try this season in this energy of movement, in this energy of results, of steadfast energy? I want to try, what do I want to try? So many things I want to try. This season, I want to try being more carefree with the content that I post. I think through a lot of stuff. Um, and sometimes I'll think my way out of doing things. And I'm tired of it because I know there are certain things that are as bad as I'm making it seem, like my music. I'll like talk myself out of posting it, or I'll talk myself out of like doing a video because I'm like, oh, that's not good enough. It needs to be more intricate. There needs to be more things. And there are some high quality videos that are just like 3 minutes. Keep them one more, it keeps them one and more and stuff like that. Like I am dismissing so many things because I'm being such a harsh critic on myself. So I want to try just being more carefree and tapping more into my inner child and not thinking so hardly on whether something's good or not to post it because we're our worst critics. And sometimes our inner critic isn't even us. It's like our parent that was like our worst critic. And they're just blobbering a bunch of nonsense, or it's like an old bully or a teacher that didn't give you your credit where it's due. What do you want to try this season, the spring season? Spring equinox, I believe, is May 20th. What's something you want to try as we're stepping into spring? this year. It doesn't have to be like the season of spring. Whatever season you're watching this, it could be like the season of this year, the season of the year of the horse, the season of eclipse season. We're ending the eclipse season right now, or whatever retrograde we're going through. What do you want to try this season? And I challenge you to try it, or at least start moving towards trying it, like investing in the concept of doing it if it's something that's like really intricate. Right now, we're going to do some bibliomancy. And I'm just going to open the book to a random page to close off this amazing book. I have not read it all, but I will be circling back to this whenever I'm in the midst of a dark time, and I highly recommend that you do as well. All right, let's see. I'm just gonna open it randomly. Feeling this. All right, reading to explore a shadow bond. Have you been wondering why a specific relationship in your life is shadowy for you? Are you hoping to improve the connection by bringing the darker parts of it into focus? Here's a great spread to explore a bond that seems to be in shadow. Oh, so you can do like a tarot card pull. Why is the bond so shadowy for me? Huh. Okay. Let's pull some cards. I was already gonna do a card reading, so that's crazy. And let's see, maybe I should do one for you. So the first question is, no, I'm gonna do this for me. And then if it applies, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Maybe we for the collective, for both of us. Why is the bond so I want you guys to think of like a relationship that's just like, mm, I don't want to do this. I feel like this wasn't the page I was meant to do because I'm already going to do a reading and there's no one that I want to do this. It's supposed to explore a shadow bond. And my bonds are pretty good. Um, I don't think this is the right time for me to do this. We're gonna try it again. We're gonna open this. But if you do need to explore a bond, a shadow bond, 137, page 137 of this book. This is meant for someone to see. One of you guys, at least one of you guys, need to explore a shadow bond, a bond that's kind of finicky. Get yourself this book, page 137. That was meant for someone. Now let's get something for the whole collective. Walking, talking with your wounds. Sometimes we can feel that our spiritual nature was harmed by teachings or events that have left us unable to feel safe and confident in our practice. Such wounds are real and valid. If this resonates with you, perhaps it's time to address them. Throughout my career, I've spoken to so many practitioners who harbor fear and reluctance around witchhood because something from their past left a stain on their perception of spirituality, or because something in their present life prevents them from enjoying it. For many, it's religious trauma from a childhood filled with stories about how witches burn in hell. Others have unsupportive partners or career reputations that could be compromised if their witchcraft was discovered. I've also met witches who got screwed over by psychologically abusive covens, cults, or mentors. Others have described scary incidents that made them feel unsafe to return to stuff like magic and divination. If you have a wound of this nature, here's a technique to try. Ooh, I like this activity. Start by giving your wound some kind of visual form. How would you describe it? Does it look like a younger version of you? Perhaps how you appeared at the time that the wound was inflicted? Or is it swirling energy or vapor that gives off a certain feeling? Maybe it takes the form of an animal, or perhaps it's an archetypal figure, such as a damsel in distress, a court jester, or a social outcast. Write your description down or create an image to represent it. Next, give the wound a creative name. The name will be used to address it during your meetings and also to refer to it in your journaling and contemplation. Now visualize yourself approaching the wound in a public place. It could be an airport, a woodland clearing, or a long open stretch or shoreline. Step 4 is greet your wound in a friendly, informal way. This might be your first time meeting it in this fashion, but you've certainly met before. You know this wound only too well, but this time you get to converse with it. Step 5 is begin walking and talking together, taking in the atmosphere of your surroundings. Tell your wound that you are pleased to meet it and explain how much you appreciate the opportunity to talk. And step 6 is when you feel ready, you can start asking your wound some questions. Maybe things like, what would make you feel better about witchcraft? What could I change to accommodate you? How can I reassure you that you're safe? At first, your wound might be a bit on the quiet side, slow to open up, or you could have a wound that won't stop talking. Some wounds might ask us many questions as they answer. Some wounds are demanding and make a lot of requests, while others might just need comfort or the space to repeat themselves a lot. Accepting the current state of your wound is important. This is about understanding your wound, not forcing it to change according to your timeline. Step 7 is when you feel the visualization coming to a natural end, say a fond goodbye to your wound. Let it know that you truly appreciate the time you spent together and that perhaps you could meet again if you both feel like talking. One meeting may be enough, but perhaps not. Your wound may have been unheard for a long time and could therefore require further interactions until they begin to heal. Walk and talk with your wound as much as required. I recommend making a note of anything you want to remember after completing each visualization. You and your wound can work together to figure out how to bring about healing. Just treat your wound as a teacher and a part of your story, not as an inconvenience. So, that was some deep stuff. Ooh, I felt like that feels like that will definitely help. And if you really enjoy doing this activity after this call, I highly recommend voting for the Witch Room book. And I'm gonna get into the other book options for our next book for a book club. But yeah, I would play some music and do this activity. And if you're wondering what page this is page 180. So once you get the book, go to page 180. It's walking and talking with your wound. I'm probably going to do this tonight. And I highly recommend you guys do this week too, because we often just shame and blame and closet some wounds that we don't deserve to have. And it's really uncomfortable to address. But yeah, I think this is such a beautiful way to heal it instead of put a band-aid over it. And I'm going to do a collective pull, our last card pull for this book. This is cool. Oh, it's a really slippery net. A collective reading for the end of our Navigating Darkness discussion. All the replays are up in the classroom section of this group. Go to the book club replays, and there is a page for Witch in Darkness, Navigating Darkness, with all of the replays for you to go back to whenever you're in the midst of a tower moment or just uncomfortability. Okay. First, I got the Three of Wands in reverse. Mm. So let's come to mm. We've got the Three of Swords. Ouch. I'm gonna pull one last card for this message. Ooh. Mm. Mm. And the Chariot. but in reverse. I love these cards so much. They're so pretty. They match my hair. Okay. I feel like you're not. There's a part of yourself that you're not wanting to explore more. And because you're rejecting that part of yourself that you're wanting to explore more, it's leading to more pain than necessary. Because you are turning your back on a project that you've left behind, abandoned. Um, you're dealing with more pain than you have to. Like you're putting swords in your own heart by denying this part of you that brought you great joy. And with the chariot in reverse is like having those swords in your heart, feeling this pain, this unnecessary pain from not pursuing this project that could have brought you great joy it creates stagnation. Like it makes your heart heavier than it needs to be, which makes things slower than it needs to be because you're carrying this pain that you don't even realize that you're carrying. Like you may tell yourself like this project is no big deal, like I suck, like it's whatever, but like the body keeps score. Like you could have something lingering in your subconscious that's telling you you're unworthy because you decided you were unworthy at a point of time in your life where you left the projects. Where in your life as a kid what's the first thing that comes to mind when you have ditched a project because you felt unworthy, where you've ditched a hobby because you felt unworthy, where you've abandoned a dream, a desire because you felt unworthy, or you just felt not good enough? That that a breakup isn't as simple as, okay, I'm getting like, I feel like breakups are easy when you don't like someone. Breakups are fine. Like if you're talking to like multiple people, and you haven't gotten close with someone, then it's not as difficult. But if you have gotten intimate with someone, if you spend a lot of time with someone, you have a really strong bond with someone, you've invested money in this person, it is so much harder. And you could simply move on and tell yourself like they're not good for me, it's whatever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even have to be a relationship breakup. It could be like a friendship breakup or a family breakup. At the end of the day, your heart is still in it. Like you can ignore the pain and say it's no big deal all you want. But if you've devoted time and use this as like a vice at some point, this thing that you've ditched, that pain is still there. Even if you're like pretending like it's not, like it's ignoring that thing that you really enjoy doing because you just don't feel like it has a purpose. You don't feel like it makes money, or you just don't feel like anyone would be interested in it. Like that's making you stagnant in more ways than you can even imagine. Feeling unworthy isn't something that is only applied to one thing. Sorry, I dropped a card. I'm trying to pick it up. Hold on. Oof. I pick it up with my. Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, feeling unworthy it bleeds into other things. It bleeds into your self-esteem. It bleeds into the way you show up. It bleeds into the type of people you attract in your life. It bleeds into how you're treated in life. Not saying that like, not trying to demonize the way people treat you, but it does bleed into how people perceive you in life, which leads to a specific type of treatment that you can change simply through having a stronger self-esteem. Um, through picking up what you've abandoned. It's not just about the creation and how well the creation comes out. Art creation is healing. It's not for other people. It's not something that is always supposed to make money. It's not something that may be perfect. It's something that needs to be expressed. And when you abandon something that you feel like expressing, it sits in your body. So I want to ask you, like, what have you abandoned? Can you pick it back up? Doesn't have to be like you're gonna like finish this art piece in a day, or you're gonna finish this song this week or this month, or you're gonna finish writing this book this year. Like, pick the pen back up, pick the piano back up. Doesn't have to be extreme. Pick back up the thing that you've abandoned as a child, or maybe it was something recently that you've abandoned because you decided it was pointless because you've told yourself like if it doesn't make money, or if it's not being acknowledged in this moment, it's not worthy, it's not something that is worth your time. I want you to think of a to see this thing in a new lens, because it's not just about the final product, it's about the journey, and the journey of expression alleviates that weight that you're carrying. Yeah, that is the reading for our last Navigating Darkness call. I love these cards. Just gotta flash them real quick. All right. Oh, they're starting to slide off the bed. No, stop. All right, and if you go to the feed, I notified everyone. If you'd like to vote, I'd love your vote on our next book that we're going to go into this spring. The first book is Heal the Witch Wound. This is this goes into the history of the witch trials that was worldwide. It wasn't just the Salem witch trials. It goes into the false accusations. It goes into how the trauma, our ancestors, that pain still is within us. Um, a lot of us are scared of standing out, of being different, of being othered, because generationally, our ancestors witnessed people get killed, if not were killed, for just existing, for just like being seen, for just being attractive. You were called a Jezebel and they stoned you or drowned you, raped you, or freaking hanged you. It was just ridiculous. If you knew how to make birth painless, you would be arrested and killed because it was interfering with God's will that a woman should feel so much pain while she's giving birth. Um, being a medicine woman, which was the normality before um, the synthetics were introduced and men took it over, that started to be persecuted. And it shares how, like, it just helps you to untie that big knot of fear and pain that we all carry from a time where you were persecuted for the stupidest things. Most of the people who were killed during the witch trials weren't even doing witchcraft. They just were not submitting um, to patriarchy. So, this is a very, really good read. I've already started. Dang it, I dropped some cards. I already started it. Oh, hold on, let me put these cards away before I drop all of them. Which one fell? And spring is when I will be announcing the book. So I think March 20th is when I will announce what the book is, giving people time to vote. Some of them flipped. These things are so freaking separate. They're so cute. I need to do like a high quality photo shoot with these cards. Okay, where's the box? They come in this cute little pink box. Oop. All right, and then the next book is Your Blueprint for Pleasure, Discover the Five Erotic Types. And this book, where did it go? And this book is really great for exploring what you're into. There's like five different archetypes, and there's one that's really pushed in society, the energetic, I believe, which is the basic, like you bring spiritual depth to, which one is it? Oh no, it's a sexual one, which is you bring fun, passion, and play. You're easily and reliably aroused. I feel like socially, the sexual archetype is pushed, and the energetic sexual archetype, the sensual sexual archetype, the kinky, the shapeshifter, like those are like more taboo, but like it's just taboo because it's not what's pushed. That doesn't mean that those preferences shouldn't be acknowledged and explored. It just means that they just aren't talked about. So I feel like oftentimes, like when pleasuring yourself or in bed with a partner, it's not as great as an experience as it could be because we don't even know ourselves how to better explore our archetypes. So if you're someone that's wanting to explore more, um, just enjoy pleasure more, definitely vote for this book. I read some of this while I was in Gozo, and I saw in real time just how accurate it was. I am the sensual, which means I love artistry to love making. I like the senses like smells, sounds, will just like whoo. And then I'm the energetic, which is I bring spiritual depth to sex, able to achieve touch-free pleasure, which is very informative. I've had hints of that, but I didn't know what it was. So you're just like, I'm kind of weird when it comes to like in bed experiences. Yep. It's not that you're weird, it's just like your archetype isn't acknowledged. We can tap into that in this book. And then the last book that you guys can vote on is Tarot for Creativity. I've read a bit of this book too. And this is pretty much like, I mean, the title's self-explanatory, a guide for igniting your creative practice. So it's using tarot cards to help with your creative practice. If you really resonated with this reading, I would say I don't know which one. I would say this, if not, if you're not feeling the Witch Wound book, this book too can help you to tap back into that thing that you've abandoned. It has activities for each of the cards and different pulls that you can do. Because tarot isn't just fortune telling. That is just what the media shows you. That is just the stereotype. Oftentimes, we're just seeing the stereotypes of things, especially in the esoteric space. People only see the stereotypes. People only know the surface level astrology, their sun sign, or like, oh, this is BS. Like, they haven't even learned to read a natal chart. And it is so complex and way more descriptive and can be used in so many different things, astrology, tarot, and people are turned off by the surface level like stereotype, not realizing that there's so much more to it. Like I asked this guy that I'm talking to, I was like, "Do you believe in tarot?" He was like, "No." I don't think so. And I'm like, why? He's like, because they always like predict your future and like mess up your future by predicting your future. And they'll just like say something um to like woo you that's very like generic. And I was like, have you ever been to a tarot reader? Have you ever gotten a tarot reading? He was like, no. So he was telling me his experience, and he haven't even had that experience. So this is definitely perfect for any of you who are enticed by the whimsical schmoozical, but you don't know where to start. Like you want to see if want to just like dip your toe into tarot. Not even this is like advanced even. It shows another perspective of tarot. Tarot could be used for reflection. Tarot could be used for, of course, prediction. Tarot could be used for so many different things. And I absolutely love it. So definitely vote if you can. Come to the calls. They're gonna be listed. I'm gonna try to like be more on my be more on top of the monthly events. And maybe like send out an email a month before just so you can have it to put in your calendar because that definitely would make it more um easier to schedule. Because I'm in some groups where they like tell you like a month ahead of time and I get to put it in my calendar and just like schedule things around it. So that's something I'm going to work on. I'm not sure when our next call will be, but I will be announcing it once the book is picked. And I kind of feel called to do one more card pull and then see what activities inside of the Tarot for Creativity book, just for fun. And as I'm pulling, I appreciate all donations for this group. It does cost me a fee to keep it up for free and to have the replays available from Zoom. So all donations are welcomed. And if you can't donate any money, I'm just really grateful that you're donating your time and your energy in this group and to make the most of it. Like interact. And if you have any questions, you could always DM me on school. Let's see what card's gonna come out. Oh, okay. Oh, I love this one. There's like a song that just came out by one of my favorite artists, Queen Herbie. I got the Fool. So let's see what activity we have for the Fool. I'll give you guys a taste of this book. Okay, so some of the creative prompts for the Fool is write a story or poem about conquering a fear of heights. You might include an unexpected twist at the end that requires a leap of imagination for your reader. Another activity is create a self-portrait that reimagines you as a fool. Think about what jumping into the unknown means to you and how you can illustrate that visually. Another activity is make a mood board of your favorite vistas and write a poem about each view over the next month. Another activity is journal about what creative freedom means to you. How close do you feel to that feeling, and how can you alter your environment to create a freer, creative experience for yourself? Damn, that's some deep shit. Mm, that one's very tasty. What creative freedom means to you? Expression. Unapologetic expression is the first thing that came up for me. And then for the full spread, it says to make a more personal connection with the card and dive deeper into the creative risk-taking means to you. To what creative risk-taking means to you. Use the following spread to explore the creative support the Fool has to offer. Turn to the spread when you're feeling creatively dry, burnt out, blocked, or lost. Shuffle your deck, then look through and find the Fool. Lay out the three cards behind the Fool as answers to the questions in the spread. Reflect on how each card relates to the question. Ooh, we're gonna do that because that relates to what we were just talking about. We're gonna do a double reading. All right. Let's see. First question is, where do I need more creative joy in my life? Where are we needing more creative joy in our life? Mm. Ooh, I got the Hermit in reverse. Ooh. It's giving like the creative joy that you're wanting in your life requires for you to step out of hermit mode. The creative joy that you're wanting in your life requires for you to conquer some type of fear, like get past some social anxiety, like just push a little bit harder with getting in rooms with the right people. You need more interactions with people and environment, like to give yourself permission to have that creative joy. Maybe putting yourself in spaces where that creative joy is encouraged. So if you're wanting to draw again, like signing up for an art class or oop, that one flew out, or watching a YouTube video, not even forget the social media content. Go out. This screaming, go out. Stop like watching people online. Get out. Like look at what events are going on in your area. Join your local chamber of commerce. Like go where the people are. See what's going on in your environment more. And if you're already doing it, I feel called to say like share your gifts more in these spaces. Don't hide. Like take any opportunity you can to share what you do. Like I'm feeling like you're a bit too humble about your gifts, and there are moments where you have to share them and you're like, let me be humble. Let me not like promote myself too much. Promote yourself. There's someone that really needs to hear what you're doing that could really benefit from what you can do, your talents. There's someone praying like, I wish I knew someone that did this, and you're over here like right in front of them and they don't even know that you do that thing. And then for what risk do I need to take to access that joy? I got justice. What risk do I need to take to access that joy? You're gonna have to fight for what's yours. Like you're going to have to be the one that cuts some sh out of your life. Like you're gonna have to be the disciplinary. I feel like you should step into your inner parent if you aren't already a parent. Like if you were your own child, if you as a parent saw you as your own child being treated the way that you are, as a parent, what would you do? Like, as a very protective mother bear, what would you do? Like, if you saw someone taking advantage of you or talking to you any type of way or treating you a certain way, being like undervalued or underpaid as a mother bear, what would you do? That you're gonna have to be the one to give yourself divine justice by stepping into that crazy mother bear. Like, don't let my children. You need to be that way with yourself. And if it's hard for you to tap into that, tap into how you would treat your sibling. How would you feel if your little sibling was going through what you're going through? If you witnessed that, like, what would you step in and do as someone serving divine justice? What would you do? What would you sentence yourself to do or sentence that person if it were up to you? Like, this could be quitting a job, quitting a ending a relationship, changing a dynamic. Like it's time to step in to your parental role and like step into your masculine energy and just like create more structure and just cut some things out. Like you have to bring yourself justice to have access to that joy. As an outsider looking in, if there was an outsider looking into your life right now, what would they be screaming? Like if you were a movie, what would they be screaming at the screen? Like, what would they be screaming for you to do? Like, in scary movies, they're like, get out of the closet, run this way, shh, don't say anything, like get out of the house, get out of the house. What would the people be screaming to you to do? Would they be screaming to quit your job? Would they be screaming to like move? Would they be screaming to like invest more into your business? What would an outsider that's looking at your life as a movie, what would they be like so aggravated about? And if they could just like get in the movie and change it up, what would they do? That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you need to do. And then the last question is, how can I help myself be brave enough to take this risk, to risk it for the biscuit? Oof. We got the Five of Swords in reverse. How can I help myself to be brave enough to take this risk? Mm. So stop feeling like you're taking away from someone by pouring into yourself. I feel like a lot of us are conditioned to feel like we are taking from someone or doing something bad by triggering people or by making people uncomfortable. But it's not a responsibility if people are uncomfortable by you going after what you want in life, by you changing the trajectory of your life, by you changing the movie title of your movie. Um, people like to people like things that are predictable. Don't apologize for not being predictable, or don't apologize for being predictable. Stop focusing on how people are going to respond to a plot twist. They're side characters. You're the main character. How does this plot twist affect you? The rest is it's just noise. Unless, of course, you're hurting others, but um, yeah. How can I help myself be brave enough to take this risk? It's to stop worrying about risks that have nothing to do with you. Stop worrying about the impact of your own individual decisions, your own autonomy. Stop worrying about how other people are going to react to your own peace, to what's best for you. That's not your responsibility. Like, if everyone was like, okay, let me make sure that, my partner is okay with this. Let me make sure my parents are okay with this. Let me make sure, my friends are okay with this. Like so many things would not be done. Like some things just need an executive decision without anyone's input because other people's input can get in the way of the direction you're supposed to take. And sometimes it's our own input, our own imposter syndrome, our own like fears that we've developed through trying a certain thing that gets in the way. Stop looking back at the negative experiences. We all have negative experiences. We all have no's that are given to us. We all have horrible, rough drafts and like ugly ass like beginnings. That doesn't mean shit. When you get down, like at the end of the day, like all those ugly, rough drafts and like moments are never going to amount to the joy of when you do accomplish what you have. Like the ugly, rough draft is just a part of a process, so you can't let that get in the way of it. So yeah, that's a second reading. Hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know if it resonates. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And to stay connected, I highly recommend getting the school app so you can get notified whenever I post stuff. But if not, you'll get like an email synopsis of everything going on inside of this group. And I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you on these internet streets. Blessed be.